Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live event for the world premiere of Throwaway Horses. And today we are celebrating National Horse Protection Day. I want to introduce our panelists. My name is Ruby Lopez. I am with the Awareness Film Festival and I will be your host. I would like to introduce the filmmaker, Theresa Demarest, who is executive producer and director. Theresa, can you tell us what inspired you to to have this film and why now? What is your origin story for this film?
Well, when I was growing up in Sacramento, this guy would come around uh, with his pony and a camera, and he would convince all the neighbors to take a picture of their children, their small children, on a horse, and then convince the parents to pay him a lot of money for that picture. And that made a big impression on me. And then after retiring from critical care nursing, answered an ad that said, "Do you love horses and would you love to learn to ride?" And I went and answered the ad, and these people, all they wanted us to do is pay them lots of money to take the horses to horse shows, but I wanted to be with the horse. And um, she was 6 months old and looked at me like, "Who are you?" And I needed a lot of help. So I eventually got the help I needed. And when I started trying to raise her without knowing anything, I learned a lot about people who owned horses, myself included. And some of them, were irresponsible, clueless, stupid, myself included. Um, uh, there were smart owners, kind owners, people who just wanted the horse to make money at a rodeo, or people who just wanted to take them on a racetrack. And we're not riding horses anymore, and the general public doesn't really know what's going on and with horses today. And I hopefully geared my horse primarily for the non-horse person. I've learned from all the people who've been watching the film that horse people really appreciate a lot of the things that are being said, and have even learned things that they didn't realize. But I'm also wanting non-horse people to respond. I'm really curious about their uh, ideas because they don't realize that there are horse hoarders, like there are dog and cat hoarders, and things are happening to horses that I really want people to know about. And so that's basically it in a nutshell.
Well, that's very fascinating. And I know that, this is your world premiere for Throwaway Horses. And so I want to introduce the rest of the people on our live stream today. I would like to introduce Joanne Grossman. She's a PhD for Equine Program Director and Senior Advisor for the Animal Welfare Institute. And then we also have Kim Mosiman, who's an Executive Director for Sound Equine Options. And then followed by that, we have Sarah Hoffman, who is a head trainer for the Colorado Horse Rescue. And then we have Brent Sanko, who is a horse adapter, as well as Julie Murray, who is a videographer. Can you guys tell us, you know, what got you involved in horse welfare and what is your involvement in protecting them? I guess let us start with Kim.
Sure. I'm kind of the belief that I feel like there are some people that are just born loving horses. So from a very small age, I had two parents that were college educated and grew up on a farm and raised us in a city. So I started early begging them. Instead, they sent me to camps, did everything they could to keep my interest. But then as soon as I became an adult, I had my own, and I was a veterinary technician, so always kind of going towards animals. And then I ended up managing a horse hospital for about 12 years. And during that time, one of the vets that owned the clinic had seen a nonprofit where they gave a food bank, and it was during our first major recession, and the horses were kind of ended up in trouble. So he's like, "Why don't we start something?" And we did, and it quickly morphed into an organization that work with law enforcement, and we take on horses that are abused and neglected. Lots of criminal cases, but lots of other situations as well.
Thank you. All right, thank you for that. And how about you, Joanne? How did you start getting involved with horses, and what is your involvement in protecting them? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Joanne.
sure. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Ruby. Hi, yeah, I'm Joanna Grossman, the Equine Program Director for the Animal Welfare Institute. Um, I mean, I guess similar to what Kim was saying, I've always just been extremely passionate about animal protection issues. I joined AWI in 2014, and the Animal Welfare Institute were one of the nation's oldest animal protection groups. It's our 75th anniversary year. And, horses have always been just growing up in rural Texas, horses have kind of always been a part of my life. And, it's a privilege to work for AWI, which started the national campaign to pass a federal prohibition on horse slaughter. And yeah, I mean, just professionally, like I said, it was something I always wanted to do, just advocating for animals, and had the opportunity to do so in various organizations, and on the Hill before ending up at AWI. And, horses are just such remarkable animals, and it's extraordinary to see the passion that people have for them, even if they're not like horse people per se. So I think that it's very rewarding, to feel like people really do care about the issue.
Great, thank you very much. Sarah, what can you share with us?
Yeah, trying to keep it, short. I was a horse lover my whole life, and in 2014, I ended up having the opportunity to work for the Colorado Horse Rescue. I'd been training horses prior to that. I was in school to become a veterinarian, and to pay for all of that, I was just kind of training horses here and there, ended up under some really great trainers, and then in 2014 ended up with the Colorado Horse Rescue, and what I thought was going to be a 6-month opportunity turned into nearly a 10-year opportunity. And so I went from just a contracted trainer to an official trainer to head clinician to so really having an opportunity not only to work with so many horses, but giving people an opportunity to see that any horse can end up in a critical situation or a situation where they're at risk, and just helping people understand horses better, helping the horses that maybe weren't given all the best chances in their life to have better opportunities and to have good training and good people and the time and understanding to give them the best possible chance that they could, to make it into their next home.
Wonderful. Thank you for emphasizing that different horses can have a critical moment, and that they need the advocacy that only we can give them. Brent, what about you? How did you get involved in this world?
Well, I get to be the different perspective here because as the adopter, I get to be the beneficiary of all the hard work that everyone else has done. And for me, it's more about the bond with a horse. I mean, I'm lucky enough now, Amira is in my backyard, and, I get to see her every day. And we've gone on backcountry trips with another horse I adopted, Taos. And so that pairing where we go, miles and miles into the backcountry, and we're spending nights, out in the wilderness, and just kind of that bonding pair that I've formed with Taos and Amira and my dogs and all that, like that's brought me peace of mind, more so than a lot of things in life. So again, as the beneficiary or the recipient of all the hard work, just thank you for everything that everyone here has done.
Great, thank you very much. Julie, I know you're also a videographer, but you're also from a horse racing industry family. So how was your involvement in all this coming about?
Yeah, so I grew up with horses my whole life, and I think for me, I always got the horse that was the diamond in the rough, or one that needed some help socializing. So growing up, I would get the horse coming off the track that wasn't quite ready for anyone else, and I liked seeing unsafe horses become safe. And I think I've done that my whole life, and I've tried to learn a lot about training and connection and all that stuff through the years. And it's just become really important to me to not see horses as unchangeable, and that they can fit in with the right training and the right opportunities.
Wonderful. As this is the National Horse Protection Day, what do you guys would like the audience here to know about this day, and how is it like, how should they be present this day, and how to be an advocate to keep this movement growing for National Horse Protection Day? How to be involved? I guess we could start with Theresa.
That's a big, huge question. There are people, when they watch our movie, we talk about people who are considering adopting a horse. And so we have guidance on things that you might look for about that. Um, Joanna, do you have, I want to go to Joanna
Okay.
because she works on legislation. Uh, when people watch our movie, they learn that horses, they didn't realize this, but a lot of horses, over 10,000 horses a year, are going to slaughter, are being sold in kill pens. They learn all this in watching the films. And people get, buy a horse off an auction for 300, sell it to the slaughterhouse for 500, and they make a profit. And it's a big business. And so Joanna is involved in Congress and the legislation. And can you maybe tell people about the SAFE Act or anything that you might?
Yeah, thanks, Theresa. That's, I think, a really helpful overview. And yeah, no, it's a great question, Ruby, in terms of how can people sort of get involved. And so, it's really easy to reach out to lawmakers' offices. You can go to the Animal Welfare Institute's website. We have action alerts that will make sure your message is going directly to your representative and to your senators. And as Theresa alluded to, there are important pending federal bills that pertain directly to protecting horses. The Save America's Forgotten Equines Act, the SAFE Act is certainly a big one. And that is the bill that would permanently prohibit the horse slaughter for human consumption, both here in the United States, and then importantly, as Theresa mentioned, the export of American horses abroad to be butchered for their meat. I mean, historically, the numbers have been quite high. I mean, it's a tragedy when I think any individual horse meets that fate, let alone 20,000 or more, as we're basically seeing right now in the status quo. Um, and as somebody who works in government relations, I can honestly say, I think just about every congressional office, every staffer that you talk to will say they probably hear the most from their constituents about animal protection issues. And within that space, equine issues, equine welfare in particular, is really high, like top of the pile in terms of what they're hearing about. So it definitely is an important way to make a difference. Call, write, set up meetings, whether in the district or not, or virtually. Make sure that you're weighing in to let them know it's an issue that you're passionate about. And the SAFE Act is one critical bill, certainly, but there are definitely other horse-related equine issues that Congress is looking at. So I think the more people weigh in, that's such an important means of advocacy, so that hopefully we can affect change at the federal level.
Great, thank you. Does anybody else on the panel have anything else they would like to say about this issue and like to share? Kim?
Yeah, I think just general, like if people are watching this and wondering what they can do, just three general things they can do is either improving their own care standards or thinking more about the future of the horse that they have. Speaking up when they see something wrong. That is still a battle, with these neglect cases that we sometimes have because the neighbor doesn't want to say anything. But I know for us as a rescue organization, if that's an issue, we will go out and view the animal and make the complaint just to keep them a little protected. So just know that's always an option. If you don't want to be the one speaking out, I bet there's someone in your community that would do that. And then supporting, reputable local horse rescues, because we always joke and say we wish we would have rescued goldfish because they're a lot cheaper, but horses are expensive to rehab and get them to a point where they can be rehomed.
Great, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Sarah or Brett or Julie?
I
I
think I
was,
would just, oh, so sorry.
go
Yeah,
ahead,
I just
Sarah.
echo everything that was already said, from my perspective, being somebody who worked in the rescue industry. There's so much that just an everyday person can do. And I think it's really easy to get inspired by a film and say, oh, I'm going to go out and buy a horse right now. I can do so much. And that's such a big step. And the little things that you can do is visit your local horse rescue, like they said, support financially or support with your time and energy. So many horse rescues need so many more bodies there to help support them, mucking the stalls, feeding the horses, doing the day-to-day care. And that's just so mutually beneficial for people who love horses and care about horses. And it gives back to the rescue itself in ways that money is not always there to support. Or find. So just getting involved in all the go to a clinic, support the events that they have, sponsor a horse. All rescues have all kinds of different ways that any individual can interact with, both financially or time wise, or so many different ways.
Thank you. Brett?
Sorry, I'm admiring how dark Amira used to be. She's pretty grayed out now. But no, I was really, Sarah kind of stole everything I was going to say. I think just getting involved in a rescue or with a rescue is kind of critical. Just there's a lot that I think first-time horse owners don't understand, and they just kind of see it as a large dog. And in reality, there's so much more that goes into it. So just building awareness for the community, but also building awareness for yourself and everything that goes into taking care of horses. So getting involved with the rescue not only helps the rescue with your volunteer labor or time or, whatever kind of energy, but it also, you get the return of so much more knowledge of the community and of the horse world in general. So there is give and take on both sides. And I think that's kind of my point, is to just get involved, just start and get involved.
Great, thank you very much. What about you, Julie? What do you think the best involvement is that you've experienced?
I would say that, keep your mind open to education and learning as much as you can and absorb everything. I mean, learn about how to, caretaking, vet science, training methods, just all those things. And if you put it to use on your own horse, then you make sure that your horse, if you're ever in a situation where the horse goes to the next owner, that there's no way they fall through the cracks, and there's no way anyone would want to get rid of it, because you've done all the good things to make sure with, whether it's their nutrition and diet and training and just all those things. It just seems like it's an endless education owning a horse. And I just hope people that have them keep that open and constantly use progressive ideas to get them better and better.
Great, that is so wonderful for you to say that. And I think education is very key, especially for people who are watching the film like this for the first time and learning more about horses, as well as people who know already. But I think continued education is a good thing. Thank you for emphasizing that, all of you. Theresa, this film, what do you feel for this film that you would like for people to get their takeaway and that is beneficial for them, that came about for you doing this film?
I was going to talk a little bit about Fielder, because she had no idea. She was appointed as the director of the Oregon Humane Society of the United States, and she was expecting to take care of cats and dogs. And I didn't know this when we were interviewing her, but what she revealed was that as she became the director, there were more reports coming in about horses than cats and dogs. And I thought, wow, I didn't realize that. And so I think the reason I did this film is I want the general public to understand that horses are in serious trouble. And I just want them to watch my film and become aware of it. And hopefully when they watch the film, they'll go, oh, maybe I can go volunteer at a barn and learn about horses. There are people that I know that just love going and cleaning the stalls and helping to feed the horses, and brush them. And horses are particularly unique, intelligent, very intelligent, and they do so much to help you. So I think all of that, everything that everyone has said.
That is wonderful. I'm so glad for your inspiration and making this film. We do have a question from Meredith from the audience. She knows she loved the film, and she was asking what was the inspiration for the film and what inspired the participants to be involved in this film, who were involved, as well as, what involvement should people start with? I mean, I know you've also said education, but one specific thing for them to in their local area, to look into that do you think is the best way to start for anybody who is inundated with too much information?
I think Brett would be a good person to answer that.
Brett, what do you think?
Well,
like, how did you get involved? How did you find Colorado Horse Rescue?
I found Amira online. So she was on CHR's website. And at the time, I was transitioning or getting ready to transition from the military, to a regular civilian career. And I was I had been riding for a few years, and I knew I wanted to stay in Colorado at the time and just kind of ride off into the sunset, that old Western mindset. And I saw Amira, and she was beautiful, and I had to go up and look at her, and got to work with her for a little bit. Honestly, funny story, I didn't realize it was behind Sarah's back because Sarah was so protective of her. But I got to work with Amira and with Sharon and Susan and some of the other ladies who work at CHR. And I was fortunate enough that we were a good fit, and I got to keep working with her. And I absolutely love her. So I was so thankful for the opportunity. And then I didn't find out that there was, all the filming and everything going on until a few times after I came up to see her. So I got thrown in kind of late, but it was really fun to get to know everybody and keep working with Amira.
Wonderful. Is there anybody else who would like to share what inspired them to participate in their involvement for throwaway horses? Julie?
Oh, I got involved. It was my first time dealing with a thoroughbred. I've always had quarter horses. In the racing industry that I grew up in was quarter horse racing, and I had zero experience with thoroughbreds. So when Raisin came along to be adopted, that's a whole different animal. So I kind of, felt inspired to kind of document what I was learning and seeing with him and a lot of his behaviors and just again treated it like a learning experience for myself. And he's 10 years old this year and doing great, and he's as white as a mirror now. So I feel your pain, Brett.
Wonderful. I do have a comment from Tara in the audience. She said she did rent it on Vimeo, but the music is playing, but the commentary voices are not playing. I just wanted to let you know that, Theresa.
Oh, wow.
So that's just good to know that there might be an issue with Vimeo that we need to take a look at.
Okay.
But Theresa, what is your plans for this film? This is your world premiere. What is going on with this film? Like you said, people can access it through Vimeo once we get the issue resolved regarding the commentators being played. Where and how can this be seen? What is the best way to get involved with this film?
A lot of questions. It's available also on Amazon Prime, and there are no problems with Amazon Prime right now. And I'll contact Vimeo as soon as we're through here today. What's happening is something unusual, is that many of the rescues, including Colorado Horse Rescue, by the way, are renting out theaters in their community and wanting to show the film in the theater and use it as a fundraiser for their organization. And they give us a piece of that, which is helpful to us. And then they get the movie out, and there are 3 rescues right now that are going to be showing it in the next month or two in Colorado and Oregon and Washington, and I'm thrilled about that. So any rescue organizations that are listening, you're certainly welcome to follow in their stead, because they're really, it's quite amazing what they're doing. And the film will always be available on Vimeo and Amazon Prime. And we just, as an small independent filmmaker, you just have to keep showing up. Let's bring Joanna Grossman. Are we still on board for showing the film at the coalition at the end of the year? Is Joanna there? Joanna Grossman.
Hi, I was back. Sorry, I was backstage, but I'm back now. Yeah, I was about to bring up that very point. Yeah, I mean, really just a testament, I think, to Theresa's vision for this film. I don't really know of any other documentaries that just do such an amazing job of showcasing the life-saving and frankly, difficult work that goes into rescuing horses that rescue organizations are doing day in and day out across the country. The Homes for Horses Coalition, which was founded and co-led by the Animal Welfare Institute, is a network of over 500 equine rescues and sanctuaries, focused on kind of growing the community, but also on ending horse slaughter. And yeah, we'll be having our conference in the fall in Denver. So we're looking forward to showing throwaway horses there, because I think they'll be really meaningful, for a lot of the attendees who are involved in rescue work.
So people are able to contact us, and if they want to do a community screening of our film, we will certainly assist them and help them to do that.
Wonderful. And then, I know we are still trying to, get the word out and figure this out. When you're saying for communities, do you have any plans for international? Our person Theresa says that, on Amazon Prime on Canada, she's not able to view it. Is there anything international that's going on that people?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Vimeo. Vimeo is international and worldwide, so I will have to contact them when we're done and talk to their support behind the scenes and find out what's wrong.
Okay, perfect. So people who are for international, they can be viewing it on Vimeo, and if they're not international, on Amazon Prime. Yes. If there's anybody out there who has community involvement or the community would like to have a screening, please contact the filmmaker. Is that correct, Theresa?
Yeah.
And what is the best way to contact you for anybody who wants to do any kind of?
All the contact information is on our website, and easily just go to our website, throwawayhorses.com, and all the contact information is there.
Wonderful. And then for everybody on the panel, I know we've talked about a little bit about National Horse Protection Day, but what is it personally for you that you think is, what does National Horse Protection Day for you personally mean to you? And how should it be highlighted for people who are maybe just getting to know this wonderful day? For me, I did not realize today that there was even such a thing. So I'm being educated. I'm so grateful for that. So how about we start with Joanna this time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, something that I think really resonated with me, what was said earlier, was when Brett was just kind of mentioning the calm that I think comes from being around horses. And I think there's a lot of truth and beauty to that. Yeah. And I think just to echo what others have said, I think it's really wonderful to support the equine rescues in and around your community. Definitely volunteer. You can sponsor horses, others have said, go to their events. Yeah, I just think that's a really just wonderful way to kind of honor what this day means. But also, to go back to kind of what I was saying at the outset, just you can also, and I hope people will certainly advocate. It's really easy to do. There are so many important horse protection issues that are out there. Well, equine ones, really, everything from horse slaughter to horse soaring, to the management of wild horses and burros in the US, to the trade in donkey skins, which is becoming kind of a global crisis. So there are no shortage of issues that folks can advocate on. And, like I said, it only takes a minute or two to send in an action alert, to your lawmakers. And you can advocate, of course, at the state level as well. Doesn't have to be just federal, but definitely make your voices heard. I think that's really, really important.
That is important, making your voices heard. I think that, and especially, for people to realize that they do have a voice, and to have a day like this is definitely gives them that chance to, start and be an advocate. What about you, Kim? What does this day personally mean to you?
It kind of ties along with like my desire to be part of this project is just awareness. It always surprised me how when we get in these horses and we tell people their stories, everybody's shocked and horrified, but it's really so common that I was surprised more people weren't aware it was happening. And like one of my biggest takeaways and hopes, if when people watch this or when they think about horse protection, is to start to shift. And our country's shifting. It's just that not everybody's there yet. To see horses as individuals with, they have mental and physical needs and not just tools or commodities for human pleasure or work. They can certainly be those things, but we have to stop ignoring the horse's need, and that each horse has a story and a personality and a moment where a human's decision can just alter their life for good or bad.
That is, that's just lovely. I'm glad you said that. Like you said that, a decision could alter their life, good or bad. And I think that's very important to emphasize. Sarah, what can you share with us?
I think that for me, education is one of the biggest things that any one person can do. And, I think about, even my own involvement. There's so many issues out there, and there's so many issues in our horse communities and our horse worlds that it's hard to feel like you can do anything if you're trying to tackle all of them. So find something that you're passionate about, find something that you can educate yourself on. And if your one voice can't tackle 100,000 things, but your one voice matters to the thing that you can commit to, even if it's just doing the best that you can for your horse at home. If you're a horse owner, we can always do better. We can always learn more. How can I be a better caretaker and advocate for my own horse? Or how can I be a better advocate for horses in general? And just, the first step is learning what issues exist, what's out there, and where can I find my passion into making my voice matter.
I love that. Where can you find your passion to making what matters? I love that. What about you, Julie?
I think a lot about connection. I know everybody on the panel has a connection to horses, but I often think people outside of the industry or horse world, I hope those people get the opportunity someday to connect somehow with horses, because like Joanna said, they really do touch your soul and they change your life. And I think there's so many people in the world that need that today. And so I'm hoping people watch the film and see how horses are able to repair and heal and find ways to do that for themselves.
That is lovely. Repair and heal. I think that is something that is a wonderful takeaway. Brett, what about you to close up about National Horse Protection Day?
Well, instead of reiterating what everyone else has been saying, like, yes, like get out, get involved. But for me, it's about reflection today. Again, like being the beneficiary of all of the hard work of everybody else, getting to see Amira and my other adopted horse Taos every day, it means the world to me. And so I'm just, I'm going to go spend a little time with them. Already did chores this morning, but it's finally nice out this weekend. And I might finally throw a saddle on Taos and work Amira a little bit and just go have fun. Because that at the end of the day, that's what it's about for me.
That is a wonderful sentiment. I totally agree with you, and I'm glad you said it. We're going to close out this Q&A with Theresa. So, Theresa, I have any final thoughts as the filmmaker for this film that you wanted to share with with our audience today, and like the best way to keep following you, because we're going to be closing out shortly.
The best way to follow us is both on Facebook at Throwaway Horses on the Facebook page, and also on our website. So that's the best way to do it. And perhaps viewers might want to hold a community screening if they like the movie and they want to, show it at their school or whatever they want to do. Just contact us. We'll be there.
That's wonderful. And then just to close out with one final question to you, as a filmmaker, what was the most challenging or surprising thing that you found out by making this film that you would like to share with us?
Oh gosh, there were so many. The film was really difficult to do. We started 5 years ago, and within a year after we started, COVID hit, and I lost nearly everyone I had hired to be involved in the film. And so I had to start over from scratch many, many times. So being a filmmaker is not for the weak of heart, particularly an independent filmmaker. And then the next hardest thing is funding. No offense to anyone in the audience, but there've been several younger people, even older people, asking us where they could watch the movie for free, and we can't offer it for free because this is how we made this movie from our own out of our own pocket, and it's quite expensive. It cost us close to $500,000, and we may or may not get it back, but I'm getting older, and it's important. I've had cancer 3 times, and I feel like I know why I'm on the planet, and so I'm supposed to be doing this work. And I'm healthy, awake, oriented, and able to go out and walk with my horse, or trail walk with her every day. She's 25 years old, not being ridden anymore. And so I guess just keep showing up.
No, that is lovely to say. As I'm saying that we will be closing this out, this Q&A, there was a question that somebody logged in late and they were wondering if this can be viewed another time. Are you able to answer that, Theresa? Do you know if they can watch this Q&A again?
Oh, I don't know. Carla, do you know if this is being recorded and can be viewed again? Where's Carla? We will find out, and we'll post it on the internet. And if people want it again, we might be able to do this again in another month. That would be fine.
That's great. So I'm going to be closing this out. Again, my name is Ruby Lopez. I'm with the Awareness Film Festival. We are a festival that basically entertains with social conscious films. So if you want to learn more about that, our website is awarenessfestival.org, and our upcoming film festival dates is in October 21 to the 25th, 2026 in Los Angeles. Again, that's Awareness Film Festival. The website is awarenessfestival.org. My name is Ruby Lopez, and I want to thank you, Theresa, and all the panelists here today for sharing your thoughts, your love for horses, and to be such advocates, and to share your love and passion for advocacy. The website for Throwaway Horses is www.throwawayhorses.com. Please, support this film, and thank you so much for today, and thank you all, and have a wonderful Sunday.
Thank you for hosting with us. Awesome. And thank you everyone for being here. Brett and Sarah and Joanna and Kim and Julie, thank you for being here today. Bye.
Goodbye.